Welcome back to Kindness Chronicle, where real stories of compassion, courage, and unexpected twists restore your faith in humanity. If you're new, hey, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon and stay with us until the end because today's story will leave your heart heavy and your soul inspired. No one in the small, dusty town of Willow Creek expected to see Private First Class Nathan Keller walking up the gravel path to his childhood home that Tuesday afternoon. His boots crunched on the driveway, a light duffel slung over his shoulder, and the sun casting long shadows behind him. After 14 months deployed overseas, Nathan had planned this return as a surprise. He missed his mother's homemade peach pie, the familiar creak of the front porch steps, and more than anything, he missed his little sister, Lily. The military had given Nathan an early compassionate discharge, citing medical reasons. He had sustained an injury, but nothing life-threatening. Instead of informing his family, he decided to come home. Unannounced, he imagined his sister running down the steps to hug him like she used to, the mother wiping tears from her cheeks. What he didn't imagine was the silence that greeted him. As he stepped onto the porch, something felt off. The house, once full of warmth and noise, was eerily quiet. The door creaked open. It was unlocked. Strange. His mother was known for triple locking everything, even the cookie jar. Nathan stepped inside, taking in the sight of familiar furniture coated in a thin layer of dust. He called out, "Mom, Lily." No response. He walked down the hallway towards Lily's room and noticed something peculiar. A picture frame was shattered on the floor, its photo of Lily and their mother face down. The glass cracked. His stomach tightened. He turned the corner and froze. There was Lily curled up on her bed facing the wall. She didn't hear him come in. He stepped closer and softly said, "Lily." She turned, startled, and gasped when she saw him. Her eyes flooded with tears, but not the joyful kind he expected. Nathan dropped his bag and rushed to her. That's when he saw it. The purplish-yellow bruise blooming across her cheekbone, the small cut near her lip, and the way she flinched when he reached for her. "Lily," he whispered, his voice trembling. "What happened?" But she said nothing. She just threw her arms around him and sobbed into his chest. Nathan held her close, his heart pounding. Who could have done this? Why hadn't she said anything? Later that night, over a cup of tea, Lily finally opened up. Their mother had passed away 3 months ago, after a short battle with pneumonia. Nathan's commanding officer had tried to reach him, but in the chaos of war and miscommunication, the message never got through. After the funeral, Lily had nowhere to go. Their relatives were distant, both geographically and emotionally. That's when a man named Rick entered her life. A man their mother had dated briefly a few years back. He showed up offering help, claiming he wanted to make sure Lily wasn't alone. He moved into the house under the pretense of protecting her, but it didn't take long before his true color surfaced. He controlled every aspect of Lily's life, who she talked to, where she went, even what she wore. Then came the insults, the threats, and eventually the bruises. Lily was only 17, still in school, still trying to figure out life without their mom. And now she was trapped in her own home, living in fear. Nathan's jaw clenched as she spoke. A cold, steady rage settled into his chest. He was trained for combat, but nothing could have prepared him for this. His little sister, hurt and terrified while he was thousands of miles away. That night, Nathan didn't sleep. Instead, he stayed up sitting at the kitchen table with the same determination he used to scope out enemy terrain. He made calls to an old army buddy who was now a lawyer, to a social worker who helped with veteran families, to the local police department. But the system moved slow. They needed evidence. They needed a statement. They needed Lily to be ready. The next day, Rick came home. Nathan had stepped out, pretending to go to the store. Rick walked in like he owned the place, throwing his keys on the counter. When he saw Lily in the kitchen, his voice turned cold. "You didn't clean the living room," he snapped. Lily shrank back. "I was about to." He raised his hand, and that's when Nathan appeared. Behind him, calm and quiet like a shadow, he grabbed Rick's wrist. "Midday." Rick turned in surprise. "Who the hell?" On Nathan's grip tightened. "I'm her brother," he said, his voice like steel. "And you just made the biggest mistake of your life." What happened next wasn't a brawl, wasn't an explosion of fists. Nathan didn't need to resort to violence. Instead, he looked Rick dead in the eye and said, "The police are on their way. You're done." Rick tried to act tough, but when the sirens blared outside minutes later, his confidence cracked. Nathan had recorded Lily's story, taken pictures of her injuries, even found hospital records she had hidden, afraid no one would believe her. Everything was handed over to the authorities. Rick was arrested on charges of assault, unlawful custody, and endangering a minor. But the story doesn't end there. Nathan stayed. He could have gone back to finish his service or applied for a desk job in the city. Instead, he became Lily's legal guardian. He turned the house into a sanctuary again, painting the walls, replacing broken furniture, and most importantly, making Lily feel safe. He helped her study for her college entrance exams, drove her to therapy, and sat with her on the nights when nightmares came crawling. Slowly, the color returned to her face. The bruises faded, and so did the fear in her eyes. Word of what happened began to spread through town. At first, people whispered, some embarrassed they hadn't noticed, others ashamed they hadn't helped. But then came the wave of kindness. The local diner offered Lily a weekend job. A retired teacher volunteered to tutor her in math. A neighbor gifted a piano she no longer used because she remembered Lily once loved to play. The community, once distant, began to rally around them. Nathan didn't see himself as a hero. He often said, "I just did what any brother would do." But Lily knew better. He had saved her life, not just by showing up, but by staying. One evening, about a year later, Lily stood on stage at her high school graduation. She was valedictorian. Her speech was short but powerful. She looked out at the crowd and said, "Sometimes life knocks you down so hard you forget how to breathe. But then someone reaches into the darkness, not to pull you out, but to remind you that you have the strength to climb." My brother reminded me of that, and I'll never forget it. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Nathan sat in the front row, tears in his eyes, pride swelling in his chest. In that moment, he wasn't just a soldier. He was a brother, a guardian, and a symbol of what true kindness and courage look like. Lily went on to college with a scholarship. Nathan started working with a local veteran support organization, helping other soldiers transition back into civilian life. He gave talks about PTSD, family support, and the importance of community. And every Sunday, they still sat on the porch together, drinking lemonade, watching the sunset over Willow Creek. No longer broken, no longer afraid, but healing together. This story reminds us that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear dusty boots, carry invisible scars,